As a foreigner in America for the first time, I am amazed at how fucking awful this country is. I have been here for a month due to work. I didn't have a choice in coming but did ensure I had an open mind. I'd heard good and bad things, so I was excited to take both as they came. Until the first week passed and I realized it absolutely wasn't going to get better. I've been in California, which I was told is a friendlier state. If this is friendly, I'm scared to know what the rest of the country is like. Everyone is rude. Absolutely everyone. I can count on one hand how many positive interactions I've had with strangers the month I've been here. Everything is ridiculously overpriced. $50 for an Uber? That's going maybe 3 miles? Awesome. The tipping culture is bizarre at best. If I'm already paying the Uber driver $50 plus gas surcharge plus service fee plus tax, why am I then forced to tip on top of that? Everything tastes awful. I have not had a decent meal the month I've been here. Even the organic fruits and veg taste strange. Anything packaged is supercharged with fat and sugar. Everything tastes bland and artificial. The disparity between the people with money and the people without is absolutely terrifying. Easily the worst aspect of the country. Seeing homeless people getting bullied by security, or seeing them begging out the front of a 5-star restaurant where people are getting dropped off in Maybach and other extremely expensive cars is heartbreaking. For a place that self-labels as the greatest country on earth, it sure is a total shithole, and I will happily never come back. I'm unhealthily obsessed with my boyfriend. I love my boyfriend more than any mere words can describe. That's normal. But I think about him constantly. If even his name is mentioned, I get excited and feel butterflies in my stomach. I want to talk about him to everyone I know. I want to learn every little thing about him, every thought he has, every little interest of his. If I see something that reminds me of him, I get happy. If someone talks about him, I get happy. If I see his face, even if it's only in photos, I want to stare at it for ages. If he buys me something, I'll cherish it and care for it like a mother would for her newborn child. I love every little detail about him, every little aspect of his life. I like talking to his friends and family because they'll only talk about him because he's the only thing them and I have in common. I want to talk about him any chance I get. He's my current hyperfixation, and has been for the last year or so. He's one of the only things I think about. I have dreams with him in it. I constantly ask him questions about what he's thinking when I'm with him. What he thought me before dating me. I love it when he hugs me. I'm obsessed with the feeling of him kissing me. I want to kiss every single part of his body because I feel as if there is not a single flaw on it. His personality and appearance matches that of the man of my dreams. I want to be by his side for the rest of my life, and I would honestly do anything for him, spend any amount of money on him, have as many kids with him, anything he wants. And also know, it is not an abusive relationship situation. We will talk to the other if we feel that there are problems in our relationship, and we will work to better ourselves to fix them. And he hasn't mentioned my obsession yet, so he either hasn't noticed or doesn't mind it. Ida for showing the kids what their dad did? My husband was staying at the hospital for some health issues. After he got out, he started wetting the bed every few nights. We talked to the doctor about it and they gave us meds, but they take time, so they suggested that my husband use adult diapers temporarily. He said no, and since he's too sick to do anything, then I'm the one having to clean up every time. I grew tired of it. He just kept wetting the bed and not even considering diapers at this point. Yesterday morning was my final straw. I saw that he'd wet the bed again and I just kind of went off. I kept talking, but it's like he wasn't hearing me at all because he just kept staring at the wall. The kids heard the fuss and came in asking what was going on. I showed them the state the bed and sheets were in and said, "See, your dad keeps wetting the bed and throws a tantrum when asked to wear a diaper." They stared and my husband looked shocked. He had them leave the room, then said I shouldn't have done that. In my defense, I wanted to defend myself because I thought it was unfair when the kids accused me of yelling at their dad for no reason. He said I humiliated him in front of his kids and made him feel terrible. I told him he can be less embarrassed and feel less terrible when he stops sweating the bed like he was a child. He started crying, saying he's struggling with his health, and said that I was being cruel and descendant towards him. Now, I'm trying to turn the kids against him as well as shame him in front of them. My sister visited, and when I vented to her about it, she said she understood, but I was still in the wrong for getting kids involved. I'm feeling conflicted on whether I did the right thing, maybe to get him to understand how this has been affecting me as well. Ida for this? The kids' ages are 11-13. Ida for not giving up my second free seat next to me in the plane? I am obese. Like, I am comfortable having 2 seats in the plane type of obese. I am well aware of that, and I really don't like to bother people with my weight. A week ago I was going to a conference by plane, and because I was going alone, usually when I fly with my boyfriend I don't buy 2 since he sits next to me, I bought 2 seats. I fit in one but my side is usually touching the person next to me and I feel uncomfortable for them. It happened to me that they gave me nasty looks and I felt extremely uncomfortable the whole flight. So I sat down in the plane and put the armrest up so I would be really comfortable. Some couple came and they both sat next to me because they got separate seats and they noticed the seat next to me was empty. Exactly what I was afraid of happened. My side kept touching the guy next to me and he even pushed me a bit when he moved in the seat. I was feeling extremely uncomfortable and asked him if he could go to his seat because I bought this one for my comfort. He told me no, since the seat is empty and he wants to be with his girlfriend. Well, I told him I understand but feel uncomfortable and I paid for the second seat so exactly this doesn't happen. He refused again and started to chat with his GF. I called the flight attendant and quietly told her what is happening. She asked the guy to leave my second seat and he and his GF gave me a nasty look. The GF mumbled something like fucking fat bitch under her breath but nothing directly to me. So am I the asshole for insisting on him to leave? My rich sister is on government assistance throwaway because of obvious reasons. My sister, 29F, is in a relationship with a man twice her age that is extremely well off. They have a houseboat, 2 brand new Range Rovers and a literal $1 million home. They also have a 2-year-old child together, have been together for years and have never been married. I found out recently that my sister and her daughter are on Medicaid as he refuses to pay for their doctor's appointments or put them on his insurance. I know it seems like such a silly thing, but I grew up relatively poor. She's my half-sister and my dad left me and my mom to fend for ourselves when I was a kid, so she didn't grow up poor like I did, and have always been looked at as less than by my family for being on a government assistance on and off throughout my life, mostly as a child, which is a weird thing to shame a child who has no control over the situation for, but whatever. My dad has straight up called me names and made fun of me for being on Medicaid/food stamps. Apparently this is common because he's a business owner and I guess insurance would be too expensive for him to pay out of pocket. My whole family knows this and they've never once shamed her for it and it's infuriating me that because they're rich no one has a problem with her being on government assistance. Edit. This wasn't supposed to be political and I realize now I gave way too much backstory into my sister's business, which has nothing to do with me. All this was about was the hypocrisy of my family. I might delete this at some point because I do feel bad sharing so much of my sister's life that's not really my business. I'm tired of my girlfriend. It took me all the boldness in my heart to write this, but I am really tired of my girlfriend. We've spent almost a year together, and ever since she came back from a trip, she's been really different. She doesn't communicate, she gets angry over the littlest things, and she could go hours without talking to me. Sexually, it's been off too. Last night I tried to kiss her and she kept her lips closed. Seemed like nothing at first, then I tried again and it was the same. I've tried talking, but she just finds a way to piss me off so I'm not willing to talk anymore. A few minutes back, she was crying in the bathroom and I came in to take her back to the room. She's stopped crying, but she wouldn't tell me why, nor would she talk to me. I still love her so much, and I can't even rant about it because she or her friends would see my posts and make a big deal out of it. Update 1. I just tried to talk to her, but she's just assured me that nothing happened on the trip. I'm definitely going to try again, but it honestly feels like she is blocking me out. Also, this overwhelming. I've never had so many comments before. Thank you to everyone who helped out. I'll be sure to keep you updated. My toddler doesn't know she's helping me heal from my I've always had a horrible relationship with food. My grandmother had a fixation with keeping me as skinny as possible which resulted in her either not feeding me enough or taking food away. My mother had zero interest in cooking or really being a parent so she fed me the bare minimum resulting in me being underweight most of my life and not understanding how to feed myself once I was able to do so myself so I would either barely eat for days or overeat and make myself sick. I now have a toddler who loves to eat everything and anything but will not eat unless I'm eating with her. She's gotten me into the habit of eating balanced meals 3 times a day and little snack in between. For the first time in my life I'm not afraid of food and I don't feel like my body is falling apart. I don't know if I'll ever tell her exactly how much she helped me once she's older but I know I'll never be able to thank her enough for this. You didn't answer the door. The blonde did. I rang the doorbell and a tall, Victoria's Secret angel-like blonde answered the door. I thought I'd surprise you with coffee, some donuts and ask if you wanted to hang out today. I heard your voice in the background asking who was at the door. And then our eyes met. I held back the tears. I just stood there like an idiot, with breakfast for 2 when you were busy cooking breakfast, for the 2 of you. I know who this girl is. She's the one you told me about, from a couple of years ago, the one you were madly in love with but who moved across the country. I guess she's in town. And she was in your bed last night? I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. I muttered sorry and ran as fast as I could, spilling coffee everywhere. The reaction of a 7-year-old who just saw a ghost. My eyes exploded with tears and my heart is now shattered in 20 billion pieces. We'd been hanging out all summer but hadn't had the talk yet. But there had been bike rides. We went to Coney Island and overdosed on hot dogs, dog parks and ice cream. So much Amarinos. You asked me if I wanted to be your date to your brother's wedding in August on Long Island. It's not like you cheated on me. You weren't my boyfriend. Not yet at least. I guess I'm the idiot. I believed you were. I showed up unannounced. I don't know what to do with all this pain inside of me. Edit. Oh my goodness. Thank you all so much for the support and kind words. I took an Advil and passed out like a narcoleptic trying to forget this entire morning ever happened. Thanks so much. I'm heartbroken but a little less sad knowing so many people can relate to this and are wishing me well. I feel nostalgic towards the beginning of the pandemic. I am still quite young. I don't want to say my exact age online, but I will say I haven't graduated high school yet and so I have never really felt the true feeling of nostalgia until now. I feel so nostalgic towards like March to June 2020. I just have all these happy memories of spending all day every day playing Animal Crossing, watching dumb Animal Crossing and Pokemon YouTube videos, those dumb little videos that made you smile a bit that talked about how the pandemic is actually a blessing that lets us spend time with our family that your mom sends on the family group chat, those articles about how rapidly the earth was healing, me and my best friend thinking of creative ways to hang out while social distancing, for example. For a while we got addicted to playing those Club Penguin remakes together before they got shut down, and spending so much time with my sister. Every time I think about those memories I get so happy yet so sad, and I think that's what nostalgia is. Sometimes, and I know this is selfish because so much people died and lost their jobs in those early times, but sometimes I even wish I could go back to those days.